All right. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bashem Yahushua, Bashem Kapardash. I want to give double honor to the apostle, Jim S. of well, and peace, blessings, salutations to the hopeful elect out there tuning in. It's going to be, as the title states, two-thirds are harming after other idols. And I'm going to open up with Judges, the second chapter, 11 through 19. This little history, brief of our people harming after other idols, and the reason why the Lord punished us, and the Lord kept the remnant around even to this present day that one shall not bow down to idols. Second, this is Judges second 2:11 through 19. And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord and served Balaam, and they forsook the Lord power of their fathers, which brought them out of the land of Egypt. Now, so-called Negro, Latino, Hispanic, Native American, clearly they don't understand or know who they are. And they don't understand, their upbringings. They don't understand where they come from. They don't understand our history, our lineage, and how Esau is out there, the so-called white man is out there to devour us as a nation. So, we're out here just growing up, no tutoring, no parenting, all types of snares and traps that are laid before us. Jake trying to make it, Jake trying to survive, Jake just trying to live and pursue this dream of happiness, but not realizing, majority of the routes that they take all goes back to idolatry. And especially if you want to be a token nigga, a nigga that wants some money, a nigga that wants the bag, and just overall, majority of things that are laid out in front of us goes back into idol worship. You can read the book of Wisdom of Solomon. It goes into heavy of the idols, and how people that build idols and worship idols and create idols are worthless. Same as the idol that is created or worshipped. Because, here in America, you don't per se bow down to an idol. You bow down to that idol mentally, and you show forth your actions on what you're into and what you follow. More accommodating to fit my busy schedule, more affordable than I thought. So a nursing degree was within my reach. More support to help me along the way, and more quickly, so I could get here as soon as possible. Sloppy. So, see how Bryan Stratton College is built different for you. And follow other powers of the people that were around about them. So it was known for Israel to worship and follow different idols for the people that's around them. And us being here in America, aka Babylon the Great, full of confusion and full of idols and witchcraft and sorcery. Our people don't understand the obstacles that's out there that's been laid out in front of our people. And a lot of our people, our women, the men of our nation, our parents, they fall right into those traps and those snares. So our people are bugged out. That's why you go to the places that we dwell, from New York to Cali, Florida, all the way to the Midwest. It can be a whole place where Jake dwell, and none of them can tell you exactly anything about the history, and that's a problem. But they can tell you everything about the American society, the governments, the holidays, and much more. So you get the point. So it says, and bowed themselves unto them and provoked the Lord to anger. And they forsook the Lord and served Baal and Ashtaroth. And the anger of the Lord was hot against Israel. And he delivered them to the hands of spoilers that spoiled them. And he sold them into the hands of their enemies round about, so that they could not any longer stand before their enemies. And it's clear today that we can't, withstand to any of our enemies, man. But, the reason why we're over here is because we transgressed our power, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, and we wanted to be like the other nations. That's why when you look at the so-called black woman and the Latino woman, their mannerism is like the so-called white woman. all other nations. And you look at their wigs come from East Indian women. And when you look at so-called black man, he wears them hoochie daddy shorts like the so-called white boy. You go, especially if you go back into the Motown era, a lot of so-called black men, they perm their hairs, they perm their hair. They wear the suit, but all that goes back to your oppressor. That's why when you really look at and listen to Jake and look how they conduct their mannerisms, they act like white boys. And that's why really the so-called black woman, she's a freak. The so-called black man, he's a freak. He's bucked out because you've been underneath your oppressors. So now, what's that scripture? Let me get that scripture real quick. Trimmest thou ways. Because this is what Jake has become. Because that's why Jake is still voting. That's why Jake is still, one is searching for equality, is searching for love. It's Jeremiah 2:33. Why trimmest thy way to seek love? Therefore hast thou also taught the wicked ones thy ways. And who's the wicked one? The so-called white man in these other nations. That's why Ishmael can come in your neighborhoods. That's why the Moab can come in your neighborhoods and they make a killing, a dwelling off of you. They make an abundance off of you. But you can't lend to them. But they lend to us. And they're able to come in and take everything from us, extort us. We're prey to these other nations. Why? Because we how you say, we love them and we nurture them and we want to be like them. And that's been our downfall. And that's why it's so bad to the point where, two-thirds got to die because there's no correcting them or fixing them. So it says, so that they could not any longer stand before their enemies, whithersoever they went out, the hand of the Lord was against them for evil. That's why Jake can't get anywhere, because the Lord is against two-thirds. As the Lord has said, and as the Lord have sworn unto them, and they were greatly distressed. Nevertheless, the Lord raised up judges, which delivered them out of the hand of those that spoiled them. Now, ultimately, Yahushua is going to be an ultimate judge that's going to that's going to deliver us. But this is just a brief history of our nation. So-called Negro, Latino, Hispanic, Native Americans, and like you said, even to the Puerto Ricans, the Latinos, Hispanics, Native Americans, they have all changed themselves to try to seek comfort in this society. So it says, Salaki. Nevertheless, the Lord raised up judges which delivered them out of the hand of those that spoiled them, and yet they would not hearken unto their judges, but they went a horn after other powers, and bowed themselves unto them. They turned quickly out of the way which their fathers walked in. Because what? The Lord made a covenant with us to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. And one thing Esau taught us, again, going into the Christian churches, in those whorehouses, Catholicism, Baptism, Methodist, etc., 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 is they straight got rid of the law. So what have our people become? Like brute beasts. Everybody else every other nationality has somewhat of a moral, a certain way of fashion that they govern by. But when you look at so-called blacks, Latino, Hispanics, everything that's in the law that the Lord told our people to, to really walk by, it's the complete opposite. So it says, that's why it's nothing but bloodshed, rape, rob, and murder. Because in the inner cities, the ghettos, the project, the caseríos, and the favelas, it's because we have become brute beasts. And it tells you, what is it? I believe in Wisdom of Solomon, the 12th chapter, that people that go into idols will become like brute beasts. So it says, they turned quickly out of the way which their fathers walked in, obeying the commandments of the Lord, but they did not so. And when the Lord raised them up judges, then the Lord was with the judge and delivered them out of the hand of their enemies all the days of the judge. For it repented the Lord because of their groanings by reason of them that oppressed them and vexed them. And it came to pass, when the judge was dead, that they returned and corrupted themselves more than their fathers, in the following of the powers who served them, and to bow down unto them. They cease not from their own doings, nor from their stubborn way. So Jake is stubborn, they're rebellious. Going into Exodus 20, it says, and Yahweh spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy power, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. And again, when you just go amongst your day-to-day society, trying to living here in Babylon, and you ask the average Jake anything about their history, about ancient Egypt, our forefathers, Israel, the Middle East, they can't tell you because they don't know. But again, they can tell you everything about America. They can tell you about the TV show. They can tell you about the 90s. They can tell you about the 80s. They can tell you about the 70s, the 60s, the 50s, Soul Train, the Motown era, and all that, man. But when it goes into, prior to anything before, they can't tell you anything. And that's why Jake is constantly, on the losing end. So it says, I am the Lord that power which brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other power before me. But Jake, everything is before the Lord, especially money. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. And you would think Jake will, Cesare Borgia, the image of, the so-called white image of Jesus Christ. You would have thought, Jake would have, questioned about it, but there was no question. Why? Because ultimately Jake wanted to be like the so-called white man. Thus, you have the integration era with Martin Luther King, which he sold us out. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them, for I the Lord thy power am a jealous power, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children to the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. So again, you're not going to escape. And so if you were wicked on this on your time, your past life, the Lord's going to get you. Nobody escapes wickedness. Ultimately, that's why as a whole nation, we all went into captivity. It says, and showing mercy to thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy power in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days thou shalt labor and do all thy work. But again, Jake doesn't know anything. Jumping down, go to verse 12. Honor thy father and thy mother, that the days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy power giveth thee. Said thou shalt not kill. Really it should be murder, meaning ratazak. But again, when you look at Jake, the dwellers of Jake, that's rampant. Thou shalt not commit adultery. When you look at adultery, is a man sleeping with another man's woman, and a woman that sleepeth around her husband. And that's number one amongst our dwelling quarters. Thou shalt not steal. And Jake does that every day. But one of the reasons why Esau promoted and taught us that there was no law, statutes, commandments, is to make you become brute beasts, and so he can ultimately usher in his gods upon our people and corrupt us as a nation and lead us into this present day condition that we're in now. And that's why Jake now have become atheist. Jake is just really that Jake just has a mentality of just crashing and burning because due to the curses which scripture says in Deuteronomy 28, if you will not take heed to the law, statute, commandments, these curses will come upon you. And since Jake has mentally lost their fucking minds due to worshiping the idols and trying to follow and seek love and want comfortability in this society and want a master to love him, Jake is just a brink. How you say it? One brink away from self-destruction. Jake is out there yearning for somebody to put him down but they have lost their minds. Real quick. Leviticus 26:1. You shall make you no idols, no graven image, neither rear you up a standing image, neither shall yet set up any image of stone in your land to bow down unto it, for I'm the Lord your power. And again, you know, in here in America, we don't somewhat, how you say, bow down to anything, but your actions show what you're into. So it says, 1 Corinthians 10, 20, and 21. But I say that the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils. Yeah, it seemed like everybody else is prosperous. Esau, the other nations, and they come here to Babylon. Yeah, they seem like they come over here and they're flourishing and they're doing good. But overall, the Lord is not dealing with them. What they do. They sacrifice them to devils, and our people fail to realize the Lord out of everybody on the earth. I think you can read this in Second Esdras, I believe the fifth chapter. It talks about the Lord chose one lily and one people over the out of all people of the earth, but the Lord chose us. He chose us for His name's sake, and it says, and not to Shalaki. The Gentile sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils and not to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. And I would not that ye should have fellowship with devils. Yep, you cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of devils. You cannot be partakers of the Lord's table in a table of devils. And that's exactly. You can't serve two things. You with one or you with the other. Simple and plain. Let me see something real quick. And shit, this is Christmas. We're in the time of Christmas. I'm ending with this Jeremiah 10:1. Hear ye the word of which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus said the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. For the customs of the people are vain. For one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen with the axe. They deck it with silver and with gold. They fasten it with nails and with hammers, that it move not. And one thing that's going on now is the Christmas tree, which goes back to the Babylonian Empire. So, and again, they always try to say, yes, it's not, this is for the kids and not for, man, it's bullshit. Jake loves Christmas. Jake loves these holidays. Jake is about to become broke. Go broke behind it to how you said, attend to your kids and just put a smile on your kid's face. But all in all, you might get thrown out of your place following with the first of the year. And then first of the year is what the New Year's, what is it, New Year's Eve, which goes back into the idol Janus. So that's pretty much it. Those were edified. To the next lesson. Shalom.